Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Panama is a small country in Central America, but it is very important for world trade. This is because of the Panama Canal. The canal is like a waterway or path through the land. It is about 80 kilometers long. Before the canal, ships had to travel a very long way. They had to go around the southern tip of South America. This trip took many weeks and cost a lot of money for fuel. The Panama Canal changed this. It cuts through the narrow land. Now, ships can go from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean much faster. Think of a ship going from New York City to San Francisco. Before the canal, this trip took more than 2 months. With the canal, it takes only about 3 weeks. This saves ships a lot of time. It also saves a lot of money. This is why the canal is so important for world trade. Many thousands of ships use the canal every year. They carry goods like food, clothes, and machines. These goods go to countries all around the world. The canal helps countries trade with each other more easily and cheaply. This story will tell you more about the Panama Canal. We will learn about its past. People wanted to build this canal for a very long time. We will learn how people built it, which was very hard work. We will also learn how the canal works today. It uses water like an elevator for ships. We will see how the canal helps Panama and other countries make money. But the canal also has problems. We will learn about these problems, like not enough water sometimes. We will also think about what might happen in the future for the canal. So, the main idea of this story is simple. The Panama Canal is a small waterway, but it has a very big effect on the world. It helps ships, trade, and countries. It is a special place with a long and interesting history. 2. Old dreams, hard work. For many, many years, people thought about building a canal across Panama. It was an old dream. People in the 1500s looked at the land and the two big oceans, the Pacific and the Atlantic. They saw that the land in the middle was thin. If they could dig a waterway here, ships would not have to sail the very long way around South America. But building a canal was a very, very difficult idea at that time. The mountains were high, and the land was wild. In the 1800s, the idea became strong again. A company from France decided to try. A famous man named Ferdinand de Lesseps led the project. He built the Suez Canal in Egypt, and he thought he could build one in Panama too. His company started working in 1880. They wanted to build a canal that was flat, like the sea. The French workers faced huge problems. The weather was terrible, with heavy rain for much of the year. The land was hard rock and thick jungle. It was very difficult to dig through. But the biggest enemy was sickness. Diseases like yellow fever and malaria were everywhere. Mosquitoes carried these sicknesses, and doctors did not know how to stop them yet. Workers lived in bad conditions. Many got sick, and many died. The work was dangerous, and accidents happened often. The French company worked for about 9 years, trying very hard. They moved a lot of earth and rock, but the problems were too big. Too many workers died from sickness and accidents. About 20,000 people died during the French effort. The company spent a lot of money, billions of francs, but they could not finish the canal. In 1889, the French company stopped the work. They had no more money, and the problems were too great. The dream of a canal in Panama did not die, but the first big plan to build it had failed. It was a very hard and sad time. 3. America builds the canal. After a war in 1898, America needed a better way for ships to travel between oceans. The journey around South America was long and dangerous. America decided to build a canal across Panama. Panama was part of Colombia at that time, but Colombia did not agree with America's plan. So, in 1903, America supported Panama to become a new independent country. Panama agreed to let America build the canal and control a strip of land 10 miles wide. Work started in 1904. New leaders took charge of the big job. Doctors like William Gorgas were very important. They knew that sickness like yellow fever and malaria stopped the French builders before. Dr. Gorgas and his team worked hard to clean the area. They drained wetlands where mosquitoes lived and put screens on windows. This work helped stop the diseases, saving many lives. Many thousands of workers came to Panama to build the canal. They came from the Caribbean islands, America, and Europe. The work was very hard and dangerous. There was heavy rain, difficult ground, and risks from machines and nature. Sadly, many workers died because of accidents and sickness during the 10 years of building. But America succeeded. They used a smart plan with locks to lift ships over the land, not a flat cut like the French tried. This needed huge dams and lakes. The Gatun Dam was finished in 1913, making a big lake called Gatun Lake. Finally, the Panama Canal opened on August 15, 1914. It was a great success for America. America controlled and operated the canal for many years after it opened. 4. The Canal and Panama. After America finished building the canal, it kept control for many years. This control included a special area called the Canal Zone. This zone was like American land inside Panama. Many people in Panama did not like this situation. They felt Panama should control its own land and the important canal. There were unhappy times and protests. People in Panama wanted more power over the canal that was in their country. They felt it was not fair that America had so much control and earned money from it. Things started to change in the 1970s. Leaders from both countries began to talk about the future of the canal. The President of the United States at that time was Jimmy Carter. He met with the leader of Panama, General Omar Torrijos. In 1977, they signed new agreements. These were called the Torrijos-Carter Treaties. These treaties said that America would give the canal to Panama over time. The canal zone would end soon after the treaties. The treaties planned for Panama to take full control much later. This would happen at the end of the century. On December 31, 1999, the time came. America gave the Panama Canal fully to Panama. On that day, Panama became the owner and operator of the canal. Since that day, Panama has been in charge. The government of Panama manages the canal. It collects the money ships pay to use it. This was a very important day for Panama. It meant Panama controlled this major waterway in its own country. The canal is now managed by the Panama Canal Authority. This is a Panamanian group. They make sure ships can still pass safely and quickly. This change showed that Panama was now fully sovereign over its most important resource. It was a new start for the canal and for Panama. 5. How the canal works. The Panama Canal is like a special road for ships, but it uses water to move them. Think of it like a water elevator for ships. Ships need to cross land that is higher than the sea. The canal helps them do this with a smart system. The canal has big parts called locks. Locks are like large boxes made of concrete with heavy gates at each end. There are locks on the Atlantic Ocean side and locks on the Pacific Ocean side. When a ship wants to cross, it comes to the first lock. The gates open and the ship sails inside the lockbox. Then, the gates behind the ship close tightly. The ship is now inside the closed lock. To lift the ship up, water flows into the lock from a higher place. This water makes the level inside the lock rise. The ship rises up with the water like a toy boat in a bathtub that is filling up. The water comes from a big lake in the middle of Panama called Gatun Lake. This lake is much higher than the sea. A ship goes up through a few locks step by step until it reaches the high level of Gatun Lake. Then the gates in front of the ship open. The ship can now sail out of the lock and cross the wide Gatun Lake. Sailing across the lake is a long part of the journey through the canal. After crossing the lake, the ship reaches the other side of the land. Here there are more locks. These locks work to lower the ship back down to the level of the ocean. The ship enters a lock, the gates close, but this time water flows out of the lock. The water level inside goes down, and the ship goes down with it. The water flows to the next lower lock or back towards the sea. The ship goes down through a few locks step by step until it is at the level of the ocean on the other side. Then the last gates open and the ship can sail out into the sea. This whole system uses the power of gravity. Water naturally flows downhill. Water stored in the high lakes flows down to fill the locks or is released to lower ships. This water comes from Panama's rain. The lakes, like Gatun Lake and Alhuela Lake, store this rainwater. The canal needs a lot of rain to work well. Going through the canal takes time. A ship usually needs about 8 to 10 hours to complete the journey from one ocean to the other. For many years, ships had to be a certain size to fit through the original locks. These were called Panamax ships. But world trade grew and ships became much bigger. So in 2016, Panama built new, bigger locks. These new locks are wider and longer. They allow very large ships, called Neo-Panamax ships, to use the canal. This expansion helped the canal handle more ships and bigger ships, keeping it important for world trade. The canal's smart design, using water elevators, connects the two big oceans across the land. 6. The canal and world money. The Panama Canal is very important for how the world trades goods and moves money. It is a key part of the global economy, like a major road for ships. Every year, many thousands of ships travel through the canal. These ships carry many different kinds of things for people and businesses all over the world. They carry food like grain, energy like oil and gas, and many manufactured goods like cars, electronics, and clothes packed in big containers. The canal handles about 5 or 6% of all trade by sea around the world. This is a very big amount of goods, worth hundreds of billions of dollars each year. The canal helps ships save a lot of time and money. If ships do not use the canal, they must travel a much longer way around South America. This longer trip takes weeks more time and many thousands of miles. Using the canal saves ships a lot on fuel costs. For each ship, this can save tens of thousands of dollars. Altogether, this saves businesses and people hundreds of millions of dollars every year. It is like a big shortcut that makes trade faster and cheaper. Two countries that use the canal a lot are the United States and China. Ships travel between ports in Asia and ports on the east coast of the United States very often using the canal. About 40% of container ships going to or from the east coast of the U.S. use the canal. China also sends and receives a large amount of goods through this waterway. Many international trade routes depend on the canal for speed and reliability. Panama earns a lot of money from the canal. The Panama Canal Authority manages the canal and collects a fee, called a toll, from each ship that passes through. Panama earns billions of dollars from these tolls every year. This income is very important for Panama's economy. It contributes significantly to the country's money. About 1/4 of the Panamanian government's income comes from the canal. The government uses this money to help the country pay for important things like schools, hospitals, and roads. The canal also creates many jobs for people in Panama. Some people work directly for the canal, helping ships go through the locks and channels. Others work in the big ports at each end of the canal, like Balboa on the Pacific side and Cologne on the Atlantic side. Near Cologne is a large free zone for trade, which also benefits greatly from the canal. There are also many jobs in businesses that support the ships, like shipping agencies. Tens of thousands of jobs in Panama are linked to the canal. The canal makes global supply chains more reliable. It connects oceans and helps connect markets around the world faster and cheaper. It is a vital part of the global economy and a major source of wealth for Panama. Its economic impact is huge. 7. New problems for the canal. The Panama Canal needs a lot of fresh water to work. This water comes from rain that fills big lakes like Gatun Lake. The locks use this water to lift and lower ships, but sometimes there is not enough rain. This has become a big problem in recent years. Scientists say this is partly because of climate change. The weather patterns are changing, bringing long, dry periods. When there is not enough rain, the lake levels get low. The Panama Canal Authority must then let fewer ships pass each day. Also, large ships cannot carry a full load. They have to take off some goods so they are lighter in the water. This means companies must send more ships or find other ways to move their products. This makes travel slower and costs more money for businesses. Other ways for ships to travel between the oceans exist. For ships going from Asia to Europe, the Suez Canal in Egypt is a good route. But for ships traveling between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, especially from Asia to the east coast of the USA, the Panama Canal is the best and shortest way. Other ideas, like building a canal in Nicaragua, have not happened because they are too hard and expensive. In 2016, the canal was made bigger. New, larger locks were built. This was important because ships today are much larger than before. The new locks can handle these big ships, which carry a lot more cargo. This helps the canal stay important for world trade. However, building the bigger locks was a huge project. It changed the land and needed even more water to work. This brought new worries about having enough water in the future, especially with less rain. The canal must also stay safe. It needs protection from possible accidents. One ship having a problem could block the canal and stop all other ships. This would be a big problem for world trade. So, keeping the canal running smoothly and safely every day is very important work. 8. The canal's future. The Panama Canal will probably be very important for world trade in the future too. Many ships will still need this shortcut. World trade is expected to grow, and the canal helps move goods quickly between oceans. It saves ships a lot of time and fuel money compared to longer sea trips. However, the canal faces big challenges. One of the main problems is water. The locks need a lot of fresh water, and this water comes from rain. Sometimes, because the weather is changing, this is called climate change, there is not enough rain. This means the lakes that feed the canal have less water. When this happens, fewer ships can pass, or ships must carry less cargo. Panama needs to find ways to save water or get more water for the canal. Panama must manage the canal carefully. It needs to keep the canal open for all ships from all countries, treating everyone fairly. This is very important for world trade. Panama is also thinking about other ways to move goods across the land next to the canal. Maybe a train or another system could help. But the water canal is still the main way ships travel, and it uses the rain that falls. Taking good care of the land and the forests around the canal is also key. The forests help keep the water clean and make sure rain goes into the lakes. Panama must also take care of the people who live near the canal. The canal is a special place. It helps connect the world and makes trade easier for many countries. Panama has the job of keeping it working well for everyone. This needs good planning and care for the environment. The future of the canal depends on managing these issues. It needs enough water, fair rules for ships, and care for the land and people. If Panama does this well, the canal will continue to be a vital link for global trade for many years. What do you think is the biggest challenge for the Panama Canal today?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.